Let me show you how to connect Freshservice with Snowflake with a tool called FactBranch. At the end of the video, we'll have Snowflake data show up right next to the ticket in Freshservice. Let's get started. First, you need a FactBranch account. To get it and start your free trial, go to FactBranch.com. In your new FactBranch account, select Show Data in the FactBranch Freshworks app. This will create a data pipeline that is triggered by the Freshworks app, in our case, the Freshservice app. And we're now going to add a Snowflake node to this data pipeline. And because we haven't connected FactBranch to our Snowflake database yet, it'll ask us to do so. First, enter your account identifier. This is also called the host name, but as the account identifier, we only need the first part without snowflakecomputing.com. Then enter the rest of your credentials. If you want to limit the IP addresses that have access to your database, be sure to select user static IP when making database requests, and you'll find the IP address that our request will come from in the yellow box. When you click Connect, FactBranch will try to connect to your database, and when it was successful, it'll direct you back to your Snowflake node. I've prepared a select statement for our demo data in the customer table. It basically grabs a bunch of fields from our customer table and selects and filters by email address. If you want to use dynamic data in your SQL query, you can use placeholder variables. They are based on the data we received from the Freshservice app. Copy the full path of the variable you want to use, in our case the email address, in the input data panel, and paste it in the query. When you now hit run, you'll see that our query doesn't return any rows at all. And the reason for that is because we're looking for the email address test@example.com. And this particular email address is not in our database. So what we can do here is change it to Carla@example.com and run the query again. And you'll see that we now get the row for Carla. Let's continue in our data pipeline and open the UI builder. The UI builder now gets all the data from the Snowflake node and allows us to build a simple UI that we can display in Freshservice now. Let's simply generate a UI based on the data we received from Snowflake. And as you can see, we've created a bunch of labels and dynamic content. Let me show you how to add a link to our UI. Let's enter OpenAdmin as a label, and let's specify the URL to a customer admin tool. Again, we can use a placeholder variable, and it'll dynamically replace this variable in the final output. Let's now install the FactBranch app in Freshservice. To do that, return to the data pipeline and click on Config next to the Freshworks app trigger. On this page, you'll find the API key that we'll need later to install the app in Freshservice. So let's go to the admin area in Freshservice, look for apps, and search for FactBranch. Click Install and get the API key that I've mentioned before and paste it into the Freshservice app installation form. And as you can see, we've installed FactBranch into our Freshservice account. Let's have a look at a ticket and see how FactBranch displays the information now. Let's open FactBranch. And as you can see, we've queried our Snowflake table and are displaying a bunch of dynamic data directly from our Snowflake database. Let's have a look at another ticket. This time it'll be for another person, for another requester. And as before, it has looked up the data for Daniel@example.com, and everything is dynamically generated. So to get started with FactBranch, go to FactBranch.com and create your free trial today. And if you need help with anything, reach out to support@FactBranch.com.